Let me start by asking you something. Have you ever wondered why some people who don't seem particularly smart or talented end up making it big in life, while others who are hardworking and intelligent barely get by? Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, spent more than 20 years of his life trying to answer that exact question. He was actually challenged by Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, to figure out what made successful people different. Hill went out and studied hundreds of successful people. Think Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and so on. He wanted to find the common formula that they all used, consciously or unconsciously, to achieve success. And here's the kicker. Hill discovered that success isn't about luck, or family background, or even raw intelligence. Instead, it comes down to how you think, believe, and act. He called it the philosophy of achievement. Now, the book itself is written in a 1930s style, a little formal and old school. But the ideas inside, they're timeless. If we were sitting at a coffee shop in 2025, I'd break it down like this. Hill basically found out that success comes from a combination of a burning desire to achieve something, the belief, faith that you can do it, the persistence to keep going when things get tough, surrounding yourself with the right people, your mastermind group, using your mind the right way instead of letting it control you. He boiled it down into 13 principles, and if you apply them consistently, Hill promises you'll not only build wealth, but you'll also grow as a person. But before we dive in, let me warn you, this book is not a get-rich-quick trick. Hill isn't saying, think happy thoughts and money will fall into your lap. What he's saying is, your mind is the starting point of everything. If you can control your thoughts and focus them, you can shape your future. All right, enough of the warm-up. Let's get into the first principle, which Hill calls the very foundation of success, desire. Chapter 1, Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Think of desire like the spark that lights the fire. Without it, nothing happens. You can have all the talent, knowledge, and opportunities in the world, but if you don't have a deep, burning desire to succeed, you'll fizzle out when the road gets hard. Napoleon Hill makes it very clear. You don't just wish for success. You've got to want it so badly that it feels like a need, almost like oxygen. Let me put it in plain terms. Imagine you're underwater and someone is holding your head down. What's the one thing you want in that moment? Air. Nothing else matters. Money, food, even your phone. You just want air. That's the level of intensity your desire for success should have. Now, don't confuse this with daydreaming. A lot of people wish they had more money, or a better job, or a big house. Wishing is like tossing a coin into a fountain. It's nice, but it doesn't do much. Desire, on the other hand, is backed by action, persistence, and a refusal to quit. Hill gives us a simple 6-step method to turn desire into reality. Decide the exact amount of money you want. Don't just say, I want to be rich. Be specific. Do you want $100,000? $1 million? Pick a number. Decide exactly what you'll give in return. Nothing comes for free. Will you trade your time, your effort, your skills, your services? Write it down. Set a definite date. Goals without deadlines are just dreams. When do you want this money by? In 2 years? 5 years? 10 years? Create a clear plan. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Start where you are, with what you have, and adjust as you go. Write a clear, concise statement. It should include how much money you want, the date by which you'll have it, what you'll give in return, and the plan you'll follow. And read your statement out loud twice a day. Once when you wake up, once before bed. And here's the key. When you read it, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of that money. Sounds simple, right? But here's the catch. Most people never actually do it. They'll read about it, nod their head, maybe even get inspired, but they won't take the time to write it down and read it every day. That's why most people stay stuck wishing instead of achieving. Hill tells a famous story about his own son who was born without normal hearing. Doctors told Hill his son would never be able to live a normal life. But Hill had this unshakable desire that his boy would grow up strong, independent, and successful. Instead of accepting the doctor's limitations, he planted the seed of belief in his son's mind. And guess what? That son not only learned to hear with a hearing aid, but he also became a successful salesman, proving the power of desire backed with belief. Another powerful example. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before finally inventing the light bulb. Do you think he kept going because it was a casual wish? No way. He had an obsession-level desire to create something that would change the world. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Imagine you want to start your own business. You can't just say, yeah, it'd be nice to be my own boss. That's not enough. You've got to crave it so much that you're willing to wake up early, stay up late, learn new skills, face rejection, and keep pushing even when people laugh at you. That's desire in action. Here's the truth. When your desire is strong enough, you'll find a way. When it's weak, you'll find excuses. So the big question for you is, what do you really, truly desire? Not what your parents want, not what society expects, but what you want so badly that you're willing to chase it no matter what. If you can answer that, and then follow Hill's 6 steps, you're already way ahead of most people, because most folks drift through life with vague wishes instead of laser-focused desire.
All right, so we talked about desire being the starting point. But here's the thing. Having a burning desire is powerful, yet if you don't believe deep down that it's possible, your desire won't stick. That's where faith comes in. Napoleon Hill puts it this way. Faith is the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. That might sound poetic, but let me break it down in plain English. Faith is simply believing in yourself and your goals, even when there's zero evidence yet. Think about it. Every big success story starts with someone believing in something that doesn't exist yet. Edison had to believe the light bulb was possible before anyone ever saw one. Steve Jobs had to believe in the iPhone before it was in anyone's hand. Oprah had to believe in her own worth before millions of viewers tuned in. If you don't believe, you'll quit the first time things get tough. Faith is what keeps you moving when reality hasn't caught up yet. How faith works in the mind. Hill explains that faith works through something called autosuggestion. Basically, the thoughts you keep repeating to yourself sink into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious then influences your actions. Ever notice how when you keep telling yourself you're bad at something, you end up proving yourself right? Like if you say, I'm terrible at math, suddenly you freeze up the second numbers appear. That's because your subconscious mind is programmed by your repeated thoughts. The flip side is powerful. If you constantly affirm to yourself, I can do this, I've got this, I'm capable, your subconscious starts to believe it. And then you naturally act in line with that belief. Hill is clear. You're not born with faith. You create it. You grow it by feeding your mind positive instructions instead of letting fear and doubt take over. The recipe for faith. Hill's version, our words. Hill lays out some ways to strengthen faith, and I'll translate them into simple, real talk steps. Affirmations matter. Repeat positive statements about what you want. Not cheesy, I'm a millionaire overnight lines, but clear, believable affirmations like, I am capable of building a business that earns me $10,000 a month. Or, I have the persistence to keep going no matter what. Or, I deserve success, and I'm creating it step by step. Say it daily, out loud if you can. The more you say it, the more your mind starts to accept it. Visualize it clearly. Don't just say it, see it. Close your eyes and imagine living the life you want. If your goal is a house by the beach, picture yourself unlocking the front door, hearing the waves, sitting on the porch with coffee. The more real it feels, the more your brain starts treating it like it's possible. Surround yourself with belief. If you're around negative people all day who say that'll never work, your faith will shrink. Hang out with people who lift you up, or even listen to podcasts and videos of successful people who speak belief into your life. Act like it's already yours. Hill says faith and desire together create persistence. If you really believe your goal is possible, you'll naturally take actions today as if you're on your way there. And that behavior attracts opportunities. A story of faith in action. Let me give you a modern example. Imagine a young entrepreneur. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah works a regular 9-to-5 job, but she dreams of starting her own bakery. Everyone around her says it's risky, too expensive, too hard. But Sarah has this strong belief, this faith that she can do it. She starts small, baking out of her home kitchen. She posts on Instagram, sells to friends, and reinvests every dollar back into her supplies. She keeps telling herself every day, this bakery is happening. People love my cakes. I'm building something amazing. At first, business is slow, but instead of quitting, her faith keeps her going. She sees the bakery in her mind before it's real. Fast forward 2 years, she's opening her own shop with a line of customers outside. Was it easy? Nope. But faith kept her from quitting, and that's why she succeeded while others gave up. Fear versus faith. Now here's the real enemy of faith. Fear. Hill spends a lot of time warning about this. Fear sneaks in like a thief and whispers, "What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not good enough?" Sound familiar? We've all heard those voices. The trick is you can't let fear take the driver's seat. Fear and faith can't live in your mind at the same time. If you feed faith, fear shrinks. If you feed fear, faith shrinks. So the practical takeaway, keep your focus on what you want, not on what you're afraid of. That's why Hill insists on repeating affirmations and visualizations, because they drown out the fear with belief. How you can build faith right now. Let's make this practical. Here's a step-by-step you can use today. Write down one big goal. Be specific, like, I want to earn $50,000 a year from my photography business. Write 3 affirmations that match it. Example, I attract clients who love my work. I am a talented photographer. My income is growing every month. Read them morning and night. Don't just say the words, actually picture it happening. Feel the pride, the gratitude, the excitement. Catch negative thoughts. When you hear yourself say, I can't, or what if I fail, stop and replace it with, I can figure this out, or every step forward counts. Take small daily actions, even if it's tiny, like reaching out to one potential client or practicing your skill for 30 minutes. Acting keeps your faith alive. Over time, this rewires your brain. Faith becomes natural, not forced. The bottom line, faith isn't some magical force outside of you. It's something you create inside yourself. It's the glue that holds your desire together when life tests you. So, here's my question for you. Do you believe you can actually achieve the thing you desire? If the answer is shaky, that's your homework. Feed your faith until it feels unshakable. Because, as Hill reminds us, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
Okay, so we've already covered desire, what you want, and faith, believing you can have it. Now Napoleon Hill introduces us to the tool that connects those two ideas and makes them stick in your brain. Autosuggestion. Sounds fancy, right? But really, it's just a way of saying you control what goes into your mind by the thoughts you repeat to yourself over and over again. If faith is like planting seeds of belief, then autosuggestion is the daily watering of those seeds. Without it, your goals dry up. What exactly is autosuggestion? Think of your mind like a garden. Your conscious mind is the gardener, and your subconscious mind is the soil. Whatever seeds, thoughts you plant and keep watering, repeating, your subconscious accepts as true and grows into reality. If you keep planting weeds like, I'm not smart enough, I always fail, rich people are just lucky, guess what? Your subconscious will grow weeds.
you'll start acting in ways that match those beliefs. But if you plant strong seeds like, I am capable of success, I will earn $100,000 by starting my business, opportunities are everywhere and I attract them daily, and you repeat those seeds daily, your subconscious begins to believe them, and then it influences your actions to line up with them. Autosuggestion is basically positive self-talk on steroids. Why it works. The subconscious mind doesn't argue with you. It doesn't say, wait, that's not realistic. It just takes whatever you feed it consistently and starts treating it as truth. That's why Hill is big on repetition. Saying something once doesn't do much, but saying it every morning and night while really feeling it starts reprogramming your brain. Think about songs. Have you ever had a random song stuck in your head all day just because you heard it on the radio in the morning? That's repetition at work. Autosuggestion is like intentionally putting the songs you want stuck in your head. Hill's formula for autosuggestion. Hill suggests a daily practice that's super simple but surprisingly powerful. Take your written statement of desire. Remember from Chapter 1, you had to write down exactly how much money you want, by when, and what you'll give in return. Read it out loud twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. While you read it, see and feel yourself already having the money or success. Don't just say, I will have $1 million. Instead, picture yourself opening your bank app, seeing the numbers, paying off debts, helping your family, living in your dream home. Make it emotional. Keep repeating this until your subconscious accepts it. Hill's point is clear. You don't succeed by chance. You succeed by reprogramming your mind until success becomes your default setting. A modern spin. Affirmations and visualization. Today, people call this affirmations, visualization, or even manifestation. But really, it's the same thing Hill was teaching back in the 1930s. For example, let's say you want to run a marathon. At first, your mind might scream, you're not a runner, you'll never make it 26 miles. But if you start affirming, I am strong, I am disciplined, and I am training for my marathon. Every day, I'm getting closer to crossing that finish line. And you visualize yourself sweating, smiling, and crossing the finish line. Your subconscious begins to shift. Suddenly, your brain starts nudging you to train, eat better, and push through challenges. Autosuggestion bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The power of emotion. Now, here's something Hill really emphasizes. Words alone aren't enough. You've got to mix them with emotion. If someone insults you and you feel angry, that emotion sticks in your memory. Same with positive things. If you felt joy or pride, it's burned into your mind. So when you practice autosuggestion, load it with feeling. Think about it. If someone insults you and you feel angry, that emotion sticks in your memory. Same with positive things. If you felt joy or pride, it's burned into your mind. So when you practice autosuggestion, load it with feeling. Guarding against negative autosuggestion. Here's the flip side. Autosuggestion works both ways. If you constantly feed yourself negative thoughts, whether you mean to or not, you're programming failure. Things like, I can't afford that. I'm unlucky. I'll probably mess this up. Those repeated statements slowly sink into your subconscious, and then your brain starts making them true. That's why it's crucial to pay attention to the words you say about yourself. Even joking phrases like, I'm broke or I'm so unlucky have power if repeated often. Instead, flip them. Instead of I'm broke, say, I'm learning to manage money better every day. Instead of I'm unlucky, say, opportunities are coming my way. Your brain listens, even when you're joking. Autosuggestion in action. A real example. Let's bring this down to earth with an example. Say you're trying to start an online business.
At first, you don't have many customers, and your brain whispers, "This isn't working. Maybe I'm not cut out for this." But instead of feeding that thought, you practice autosuggestion. You repeat daily, "My business is growing every day. I attract clients who value my work. I am persistent, and I always find solutions." At night, you visualize getting emails from happy customers, seeing sales notifications on your phone, and feeling proud of your progress. Slowly but surely, this repetition changes your outlook. Instead of quitting, you start noticing small wins, maybe a new customer here, a referral there. Your actions improve because your mindset improves. That's autosuggestion at work. It shifts your beliefs, which shifts your behavior, which shifts your results. How to use autosuggestion daily. Simple routine. Here's a super practical routine you can start today. Morning, right after you wake up, read your written statement of desire out loud. Repeat it 2 to 3 times. While you read, close your eyes and see it as if it's already real. Throughout the day, catch negative thoughts and flip them. Replace "I can't" with "I can figure it out." Replace "I'm unlucky" with "Opportunities are coming my way." At night, read your desire statement again. Visualize it happening as you fall asleep. Bonus, write your affirmations on sticky notes and put them where you'll see them: bathroom mirror, fridge, computer screen. Constant reminders keep the message fresh. This routine takes maybe 10 minutes a day, but the impact over months and years is huge. The bigger picture. Autosuggestion isn't magic. It doesn't mean you can sit on the couch, chant affirmations, and money falls from the sky. But it does something even better. It programs your mind to act, persist, and spot opportunities you would have otherwise ignored. Think of it like this. If you buy a red car, suddenly you start noticing red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now your brain is tuned to see them. That's what autosuggestion does. It tunes your brain to notice and act on opportunities that align with your desire. Wrapping up. So here's the core lesson. Desire is knowing what you want. Faith is believing you can have it. Autosuggestion is how you keep your desire and faith alive in your subconscious until they become reality. It's like programming your own brain instead of letting the world program it for you. So my question for you is, what affirmations are you feeding yourself every day? If you're not feeding your mind intentionally, chances are it's running on random junk. Time to take control.
All right, so by now, you've got a burning desire, you've started building faith, and you know how to use autosuggestion to train your brain. But Napoleon Hill throws in a very practical piece of advice next. Success doesn't just come from wanting it or believing it, you also need the right kind of knowledge. Now, here's the twist. It's not about having lots of knowledge, it's about having the right knowledge and knowing how to use it. Hill calls this specialized knowledge. General knowledge versus specialized knowledge. Hill makes a clear distinction between 2 types of knowledge. General knowledge, this is broad, random stuff. It's what most of us learned in school. History dates, algebra equations, random facts about science. Useful? Maybe. Life-changing? Not really. Specialized knowledge is focused, practical, and directly tied to what you want to achieve. It's the know-how that can be applied to make money, build businesses, solve problems, and create value. Here's the kicker. Hill says most schools teach general knowledge, but success comes from specialized knowledge. That's why you can meet someone with multiple degrees who's still broke and another person with no fancy education who's crushing it financially. It's not about how much you know. It's about what you know and how you use it. Why specialized knowledge matters. Think of it like this. Imagine 2 people want to start a restaurant. Person A knows random trivia about food history, famous chefs, and cooking shows. Cool, but not super useful. Person B knows exactly how to source fresh ingredients at low cost, how to design a menu that sells, and how to use social media to attract customers. Who's going to succeed?
person B hands down because they have specialized knowledge that directly applies to their goal. That's what Hill is saying. Knowledge only becomes power when it's organized and applied toward a definite purpose. You don't need to know everything. Here's the good news. You personally don't need to know everything. You just need to know enough to move forward or know how to gather the right people who have the knowledge you lack. Think about Henry Ford. He didn't know how to design every single part of a car. In fact, he was once called uneducated. But Ford was smart enough to gather engineers, designers, and mechanics who did have the specialized knowledge. His genius wasn't knowing everything. It was organizing knowledge into a working system. That's why Hill reminds us, if you don't have the knowledge you need, go get it, or find people who do. Where to get specialized knowledge? Now, let's get practical. Where do you actually find specialized knowledge today? Courses and certifications. Online platforms like Udemy, Coursera, or community colleges offer deep dives into specific skills. Mentors and coaches. Learning directly from someone who's already done what you want to achieve can shortcut your journey. Books and podcasts. Instead of scrolling social media, imagine spending that time absorbing knowledge from experts. Mastermind groups. We'll talk more about this in a later chapter, but surrounding yourself with people who know things you don't is priceless. Trial and error. Don't underestimate learning by doing. Sometimes the best specialized knowledge comes from getting your hands dirty. The key isn't just collecting knowledge, it's using it to solve real problems and move you toward your definite goal. A real-life example. Let's say your dream is to build a successful YouTube channel. General knowledge would be knowing random facts about video history or how cameras were invented. Interesting, but useless. Specialized knowledge would be knowing how the YouTube algorithm works, how to write titles that grab attention, how to edit engaging videos, and how to monetize through sponsorships. See the difference? Specialized knowledge directly fuels your success. Hill's warning about knowledge hoarding. Hill also warns against becoming a walking encyclopedia. You probably know people who love collecting facts or endlessly studying, but never actually do anything with it. He calls this being a bookworm without results. In modern terms, it's like binge-watching courses or motivational videos, but never applying what you've learned. Knowledge plus action equals power. Knowledge without action equals wasted potential. How to apply this to your life? All right, let's bring it down to earth. Here's how you can use this principle right now. Define your goal clearly. What's the exact thing you're aiming for? A business, a career shift, financial independence? Get clear. Ask, what knowledge do I need? Don't just guess. Look at people who are already where you want to be. What do they know that you don't yet? Identify the gaps. Write down the skills or knowledge areas you're missing. Plan to get that knowledge. Is it a course, a mentor, a mastermind group, real-world practice? Decide where you'll get it. Apply as you learn. Don't wait until you know everything. Learn something, then apply it immediately. Action teaches better than theory. The confidence that comes with knowledge. One last point Hill makes is about confidence. When you have specialized knowledge, you naturally feel more confident because you know what you're talking about and you know you can deliver. For example, imagine two people walking into a job interview. One has only vague, general ideas. The other has specialized knowledge in exactly what the company needs. Guess who gets the job? Confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from actually having useful skills and knowing how to apply them. Wrapping it up. So here's the essence of Chapter 4. General knowledge is nice to have, but not enough. Specialized knowledge is practical, focused, and applied directly to your goal. You don't need to know everything yourself, you just need to organize knowledge and put it to work. Learning never stops, but learning without action is useless. At the end of the day, specialized knowledge turns your burning desire into something real. So, let me ask you, what specific knowledge do you need right now to move closer to your big goal? Once you know that, you've got your next step.
All right, let's be real for a second.
Every invention, every business, every fortune, and even every movement started as nothing more than an idea in someone's head. No money, no product, no blueprint, just a thought. Napoleon Hill calls imagination the workshop of the mind. It's where desire and specialized knowledge come together to form plans, ideas, and strategies. If desire is the fuel and knowledge is the engine, then imagination is the spark plug. Without it, the car's not going anywhere. The two kinds of imagination. Hill breaks imagination into two main types. Let's put them in plain English. Synthetic imagination. This is when you take old ideas and rearrange them into new forms. You're not creating something completely original, you're combining existing things in a fresh way. Example: Henry Ford didn't invent the automobile, but he imagined the assembly line system that made cars affordable for everyone. Creative imagination. This is when brand new ideas pop into your mind, almost like inspiration out of nowhere. Hill says this comes from infinite intelligence, or what we might call today intuition, gut feeling, or even divine inspiration. Think of the Wright brothers dreaming of human flight. That wasn't just rearranging old ideas, that was pure creativity. Here's the kicker. You don't need to wait around for creative imagination lightning bolts. Synthetic imagination, reworking what already exists, is powerful enough to make you rich and successful. Most fortunes were built this way. Why imagination matters in success. Here's the deal. Money always starts with an idea, but ideas alone are worthless unless they're turned into action plans. Hill says ideas can be transmuted into cash through definite plans. Translation: you can literally think your way into wealth if you put your imagination to work and then act on it. Look around your room right now. Every single object, your phone, your chair, the building you're in, was once just an idea in someone's imagination. Someone pictured it, then made it real. That's the power Hill wants you to tap into. How to develop your imagination. A lot of people think imagination is only for artists or inventors. Not true. Anyone can sharpen their imagination. Hill gives some strategies, and I'll translate them into simple, everyday steps. Feed your mind. Imagination works with the materials you give it. Read books, listen to podcasts, study successful people. Expose yourself to new ideas. The more raw material, the better. Brainstorm regularly. Set aside time just for idea generation. Don't judge the ideas at first. Just let them flow. Later, sort out which ones are worth pursuing. Mix desire with imagination. Think about your main goal. Ask yourself, what are 5 different ways I could make this happen? 10 ways. Push your mind to stretch. Collaborate with others. Sometimes other people's perspectives spark ideas you'd never have thought of on your own. This is where mastermind groups shine, coming up later. Trust your hunches. Hill insists that creative imagination often shows up as a gut feeling or sudden flash. Don't dismiss those moments. Write them down. A real-world example. Let's say your goal is to start an online clothing store. With synthetic imagination, you might combine trendy styles you see on Instagram, plus eco-friendly materials, plus a subscription box model. Not new individually, but put together, it's fresh. With creative imagination, maybe one night you suddenly think, what if clothes could be rented, like Netflix, instead of bought outright? That's a brand new idea that could disrupt the market. Both approaches are valuable. One refines what exists, the other creates from scratch. Turning ideas into action. Here's where most people fail. They get ideas, but never act. They say things like, oh, I thought of Uber years ago. But guess what? Ideas without action are worthless. Hill makes it clear. Your imagination should be directed into definite, organized plans for making your desire real. So the process is desire, you know what you want. Specialized knowledge, you know how it can be done. Imagination, you brainstorm and form a plan. Organized planning, next chapter, you act on that plan. See how the principles stack like building blocks? The money connection. Hill doesn't shy away from talking about money. He says flat out, money is shy and elusive. It must be wooed and won. That sounds funny, but his point is, you don't attract money by luck. You attract it by coming up with imaginative plans for providing value, solving problems, or creating products people want. Imagination is how you find those money-making ideas. A modern take. Let's put this in today's context. Jeff Bezos imagined an everything store online back when people thought internet shopping was a joke. Elon Musk imagined reusable rockets when most of us were just imagining faster Wi-Fi. Sarah Blakely imagined Spanx when all she wanted was smoother lines under her clothes. She turned that into a billion-dollar brand. None of these people just sat on their desire. They used imagination to create a plan and then execute it. Exercises to boost your imagination. Want to practice? Try these simple drills. 10 ideas a day. Every morning, write down 10 ideas related to your goal. Most will be garbage, but the practice strengthens your imagination muscle. What-if game. Ask what-if questions. What if my business had no budget? What if I had to reach 1,000 customers in 30 days? What if I had to do it with zero advertising? Mind mapping. Take one goal and create a visual map of all possible paths, resources, and connections. Let your brain wander. Creative input time. Dedicate time each week to exploring new fields: music, art, tech, history. Fresh input sparks fresh output. Wrapping it up. So here's the takeaway. Imagination is the workshop where your desire and knowledge turn into actual plans. There are two types: synthetic, rearranging old ideas, and creative, brand new flashes. Ideas alone don't matter. Ideas plus action equal wealth and success. You can grow your imagination through practice, input, and collaboration. At the end of the day, your future depends on what you can picture in your mind before it exists in reality. If you can imagine it and then act on it, you can create it. So here's my question for you. What new idea could you dream up this week that moves you closer to your big goal?
All right, let's cut straight to it. Up to this point, we've been talking about desire, faith, knowledge, and imagination. Those are all powerful, but here's the truth. None of it means a thing if you don't take organized action. Think of it this way. Desire is knowing what you want. Faith is believing you can get it. Imagination is coming up with ideas. Planning is the step that turns all of that into something real. Without planning, you're basically daydreaming, and Hill is blunt about this. The man who fails must take one of two things: either accept defeat as final, or rebuild his plans and try again. Why planning matters? Let me give you a picture. Imagine you're going on a cross-country road trip from New York to California. You've got a desire: I want to see California. You've got faith: I believe I'll make it. You've got imagination: I picture myself at the beach. But if you don't have a roadmap, some cash for gas, and a plan for how you'll actually get there, guess what? You're not making it past New Jersey. That's how success works too. Plans are the bridge between your dream and your reality. Temporary defeat versus permanent failure. Hill spends a lot of time talking about this. Most people mistake temporary defeat for permanent failure. But winners, they just see defeat as a sign their plan wasn't strong enough. Here's the mindset shift. Average person: I failed, guess it wasn't meant to be. Successful person: this plan didn't work. Let's adjust and try again. See the difference? That's why organized planning is so critical. The power of a mastermind group. Here's something Hill pushes hard. You shouldn't plan alone. He introduces what he calls the mastermind group, a team of people with different skills, knowledge, and experiences who come together to help you succeed. Think of it like this. If you're trying to build a business, do you really want to figure out marketing, finance, product development, and customer service all on your own? Nope. You'd be much smarter to bring in people who are already good at those things. Hill says, no individual has sufficient experience, education, and ability to ensure great success without the cooperation of other people. So yeah, you need a team. How to build a solid plan? Let's break it down step by step. If you're serious about achieving your desire,
Hill recommends this roadmap. Form a mastermind group. Gather 2 to 6 trusted people who have knowledge, experience, or skills that support your goal. Decide what you're offering in return. Don't expect people to just help you out of charity. Be ready to offer value back, whether it's money, support, or sharing your own skills. Meet regularly. Successful planning doesn't happen in one brainstorming session. You need ongoing input, adjustments, and accountability. Put the plan in writing. Vague ideas don't cut it. Write down your plan clearly. What needs to be done, who's responsible, and by when. Test the plan in action. Don't wait until it's perfect. Launch, even if small. See what works and what doesn't. Revise until it works. Every defeat is feedback. Adjust, tweak, and rebuild your plan until it produces results. The importance of leadership. Hill also talks about leadership here. A plan is only as strong as the people leading it. He lists qualities of a good leader: unwavering courage, self-control, a keen sense of justice, definiteness of decisions, definiteness of plans, the habit of doing more than paid for, pleasing personality, sympathy and understanding, mastery of detail, willingness to take full responsibility. Sounds like a tall order, right? But the point is this: your plan won't succeed if you're a sloppy, indecisive, or selfish leader. People won't follow that. Common reasons people fail. Hill lists a bunch of reasons people's plans fall apart. Let's translate the big ones into plain English. No clear purpose. If you don't know what you want, how can you plan for it? Lack of ambition. You have to actually want to succeed. Insufficient education. You don't need a degree, but you must know your field. Poor self-discipline. If you can't control yourself, you can't lead others. Procrastination. Waiting kills momentum. Lack of persistence. Most people give up too soon. Negative personality. If people don't like you, they won't support your plan. No mastermind alliance. Trying to do it all alone is a recipe for failure. Notice how most of these aren't about bad luck. They're about mindset and habits. A real-world example. Think about Steve Jobs and Apple. Jobs had imagination, sure, but without organized planning, Apple wouldn't exist. He built teams of engineers, designers, and marketers who all worked towards a single plan: create computers and devices that were powerful but simple to use. Every version of the iPhone, Mac, or iPad went through countless plan revisions. Some ideas flopped. Remember the Apple Newton? But Jobs and his team adjusted and kept moving forward. That's exactly what Hill is preaching here. Planning and money. Hill also makes this point. Investors, customers, and even employees are attracted to well-thought-out plans. Nobody wants to throw money at a vague dream. But when you can show a clear, detailed, step-by-step plan, that's when people get on board. It's the difference between saying, "I want to start a business someday," versus, "I'm launching an online eco-friendly clothing brand targeting women ages 20 to 35 with 3 marketing campaigns already tested, and I need $20,000 to scale production." Which one would you invest in? Exactly. Action steps you can take. To make this practical, here's how you can apply organized planning today. Write out your major goal. Be specific. Break it into steps. What's the first thing you need? Second, third. Assign deadlines. Open-ended plans rarely get done. Find your mastermind partners. Even 1 or 2 people can make a difference. Launch a small version. Test before you scale. Track results and adjust. No plan is perfect the first time.
Here's the truth. Most people fail, not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they can't make up their minds. They hesitate, they overthink, they wait for the perfect moment, and while they're waiting, someone else takes action and wins. Napoleon Hill is blunt here. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, while unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them often. Why decision matters. Every big success story is built on clear, firm decisions.
Henry Ford decided to stick with producing one model of car, the Model T, when everyone told him it was a mistake. That decision made him a fortune. Most people, on the other hand, let family, friends, and public opinion influence them. They say yes when they want to say no. They delay when they should act. They let fear or doubt do the driving. And what's the result? Missed opportunities. Procrastination, the silent killer. Hill calls procrastination the opposite of decision. Think about how many people say things like, "I'll start my business next year. I'll save money once I make more. I'll go for that promotion when the timing feels right." Guess what? The timing never feels perfect. That's why procrastination quietly kills more dreams than failure ever does. How the rich decide differently. Hill studied 500 of the most successful people of his time and found they all had this in common. They knew what they wanted. They made firm decisions to go after it. They didn't let criticism or temporary failure shake them. It's not about never being wrong. Even the wealthy make bad calls sometimes, but they don't stay stuck in what if. They commit, take action, and adjust as they go. Independence of thought. Another key point, you must think for yourself. Many people let others run their lives, parents, friends, bosses, even social pressure. Hill warns, if you rely too much on outside opinions, you'll never develop the courage to make your own decisions. Sure, seek advice when needed, but in the end, the choice is yours. As Hill says, opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Building decision-making power. So how do you strengthen your ability to decide? Hill suggests start small. Practice making quick, firm choices in daily life. Don't waste 20 minutes choosing dinner. Decide and move on. Trust your instincts. The more you act, the sharper your judgment becomes. Doubt grows when you delay. Stop chasing approval. Not everyone will agree with your choices. That's okay. Your life, your rules. Act fast, adjust later. Action brings clarity. You'll learn more from doing than from endless planning. Commit publicly. Tell someone your decision. It makes you accountable and less likely to back out. Example in real life. Think about Amazon. Jeff Bezos made the decision to quit his safe Wall Street job and start an online bookstore when most people thought the internet was a fad. That decision shaped modern shopping. If he had waited until the internet was proven, someone else would have done it first. Decision and money. Here's something important. Wealth loves speed. Opportunities don't hang around forever. If you delay too long, the door closes. Hill says the rich don't wait for luck. They create their own by making firm choices and acting on them. Quick action steps. Write down one decision you've been avoiding. Give yourself 24 hours to commit. No endless waiting. Take one action immediately. Even a small step breaks the cycle of procrastination. Stop asking everyone for their opinion. Trust your own judgment. Final word. Decision is power. When you train yourself to act with confidence and speed, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people wait. Most people hesitate. But the ones who decide and move, they're the ones who rise. Remember, indecision is a habit. So is decisive action. Which one are you going to practice?
Here's the truth. Most people quit too soon. They hit a setback, get discouraged, and walk away. But the ones who succeed, they stick with it. They keep pushing even when things get tough. That's persistence. Napoleon Hill says persistence is what transforms desire into reality. You can have all the imagination and plans in the world, but without persistence, you'll abandon them the first time life pushes back. Why persistence matters? Think about it. Every big breakthrough usually comes after repeated failures. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing a working light bulb. Colonel Sanders was rejected hundreds of times before someone agreed to franchise KFC. If they had given up early, we wouldn't even know their names. The enemies of persistence. Most people give up because of fear of criticism, like, what will people think? Lack of confidence, maybe I'm not good enough. Procrastination, like, I'll try later. And weak desire. If you don't want it badly, you won't fight for it. Hill makes it clear, persistence isn't natural for everyone. It's a habit you must build. How to build persistence? Strong desire. If your goal really matters to you, persistence comes easier. Definite plans. Clear steps keep you moving forward. Positive mindset. Faith in yourself fuels resilience. Support system. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, not drag you down. Daily action. Even small, consistent steps build momentum. Quick action step. Think of one goal you've been stalling on. Now, commit to taking one action toward it every single day for the next 30 days. No excuses. By the end, persistence will feel like second nature. Final word. Persistence is the difference between temporary defeat and lasting success. Most people stop when they hit a wall. Winners keep going until the wall breaks. So ask yourself, am I the type who quits or the one who refuses to give up?
Napoleon Hill says no one becomes successful alone. Behind every great achievement, there's a team, or at least a small circle of trusted people who help make it possible. He calls this the mastermind principle. The idea is simple. When two or more people work together in harmony toward a common goal, their combined knowledge, energy, and creativity create something bigger than the sum of its parts. It's like plugging into a bigger brain. Why you need a mastermind? One person can't know everything. Maybe you're great at sales, but weak at finances. Or maybe you're creative, but disorganized. That's where a mastermind group comes in. You surround yourself with people who bring strengths you lack. Think about it. Henry Ford had a team of smart advisors, even though critics called him uneducated. Today's entrepreneurs rely on mentors, co-founders, and advisors to grow faster. The richest people aren't lone wolves. They're collaborators. How a mastermind works. Shared goal. Everyone in the group must want success, either for themselves or for the team. Regular meetings. Get together in person or online to brainstorm, share progress, and solve problems. Mutual support. It's not just about taking, you also give your skills and encouragement to others. Harmony. The group must work with respect and trust. Conflict kills creativity. Hill believed a true mastermind connection even taps into a higher source of inspiration, like an extra sixth sense that sparks new ideas. The benefits. More ideas. Fresh perspectives you'd never think of alone. Accountability. Others keep you on track. Strength in numbers. Problems get solved faster with multiple brains. Confidence boost. Being around ambitious people raises your own standards. Quick example. Imagine you want to launch a business. On your own, you'll struggle. But with a mastermind group, one friend skilled in marketing, another in finance, another in tech, you suddenly have a team. Your odds of success skyrocket. Quick action step. Pick 2 to 5 people you respect, friends, colleagues, or mentors, and form a small mastermind group. Meet once a week, share goals, give feedback, and hold each other accountable. Final word. Success loves company. The mastermind principle is proof that collaboration beats isolation. You may walk faster alone, but with the right people, you'll go much further. So ask yourself, who are the people I need on my team to get where I want to go?
This chapter often surprises people. Hill isn't talking about sex itself, but about the incredible energy that comes from sexual desire. He says it's one of the most powerful human drives, and if you learn to redirect that energy, it can fuel creativity, ambition, and success. What sex transmutation means? Transmutation simply means changing one form of energy into another. Left unchecked, sexual energy can make people reckless, distracted, or wasteful. But when redirected, that same energy can fuel focus, persistence, and imagination. Hill calls it the most powerful of all mind stimuli. History shows that many high achievers had strong desires, but learned how to channel that force into their work, art, or business. Why it matters. Think about it. Sexual energy is life-giving. It's passionate, intense, and motivating. That drive can either control you, or you can control it. The people who master it often have a magnetic personality, high energy, and an unusual ability to inspire others. Hill noticed that most great leaders were highly driven, not dull or emotionless. Their secret? They knew how to harness passion instead of letting it waste away. Signs of transmuted energy. When sexual energy is redirected, it often shows up as creativity, new ideas, inventions, or art. Charisma. People naturally drawn to your presence. Ambition. An unstoppable drive to achieve. Focus. Energy put into goals rather than distractions. How to practice it. Be aware. Recognize when sexual energy is strong. Instead of wasting it, ask, how can I channel this into something productive? Creative outlets. Pour that energy into writing, business, fitness, or a project. Relationships. Surround yourself with supportive, inspiring partners. The right relationship can multiply your energy instead of draining it. Purpose first. Tie your passion to your major goal, so the energy drives your mission, not just temporary pleasure. A simple example. Think about artists, musicians, or entrepreneurs who seem obsessed with their craft. That intensity often comes from mastering their inner drive. Instead of being controlled by passion, they fuel their ambition with it. Final word. Sexual energy is one of the strongest forces you have. Most people waste it. A few people learn to redirect it into creativity, leadership, and wealth. That's the mystery of sex transmutation, taking raw passion and turning it into power. So here's the real question. Are you letting your energy control you, or are you directing it toward your success?
Napoleon Hill calls the subconscious mind the connecting link between your conscious thoughts and the infinite intelligence, or the universe, God, whatever you believe. Think of it like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant, positive or negative, will grow. How the subconscious works. Your subconscious doesn't judge or filter. It simply accepts what you feed it through thoughts you repeat, affirmations, beliefs, emotions you feel strongly, desire, fear, faith, experiences you dwell on, success or failure. Over time, these inputs shape your actions, habits, and results, whether you're aware of it or not. Why it matters? The subconscious is always active, 24/7. If you keep feeding it doubts and fears, it will create self-sabotage. But if you feed it faith, goals, and confidence, it works like an unseen partner, nudging you toward opportunities and solutions. That's why people say, what you think about, you bring about. The emotional factor. Hill says emotions are the key. Plain words don't impress the subconscious, but words mixed with feeling, like excitement, passion, or even fear, sink deep. That's why repeating your goal with emotion is more powerful than just saying it flat. How to program your subconscious. Daily autosuggestion. Repeat your goals out loud with conviction. Visualization. Imagine your success vividly, like it's already real. Emotional fuel. Attach strong feelings, desire, faith, gratitude to your thoughts. Guard the gate. Limit negative influences, people, news, or self-talk that plant the wrong seeds. A simple example. Say you want financial independence. Every day you affirm, I am building wealth. Money flows to me through smart ideas and actions. You visualize paying off debt, growing savings, living freely. Over time, your subconscious pushes you to notice opportunities, act on them, and stay motivated. It's not magic, it's mental conditioning. Quick action step. Before bed tonight, repeat your main goal to yourself out loud with passion. Do this daily for 30 days. Your subconscious will start believing it, and your actions will follow. Final word. Your subconscious mind is like a silent engine driving your life. Feed it negativity, and it will steer you into failure. Feed it faith and purpose, and it will carry you toward success. So ask yourself, what am I planting in my subconscious today?
Napoleon Hill describes the brain as more than just an organ. It's like a radio station. It can send out thoughts, broadcasting, and pick up thoughts from others, receiving. This means your brain isn't working in isolation. It's constantly connecting with other minds and the world around you. The brain as a receiver. Your brain picks up vibrations of thought, both your own and from others. Ever noticed how spending time with negative people drags you down, or how being around positive people lifts you up? That's your brain tuning in to their frequency. This is why Hill stresses surrounding yourself with encouraging, success-minded people. You're literally programming your brain through the company you keep. The brain as a transmitter. When you focus deeply on a thought, especially one backed by strong emotion, like desire, faith, or fear, your brain broadcasts it outward. Others can sense your confidence, enthusiasm, or doubt, sometimes without you saying a word. That's why leaders often seem magnetic. They project powerful thought energy, and people naturally respond. The role of emotion. Plain thoughts have little power, but thoughts charged with emotion, love, sex, enthusiasm, or faith send out stronger signals. That's why passion is contagious. When you truly believe in something, others pick it up, consciously or unconsciously. Linking it to the subconscious. Hill explains that the brain works hand in hand with the subconscious mind. Your subconscious fuels the brain with emotionally charged thoughts, which then broadcast outward. At the same time, the brain receives new ideas or inspiration, often in the form of intuition or sudden hunches. Practical ways to use this. Guard your input. Surround yourself with positive, ambitious people. Avoid constant negativity. Charge your thoughts. Don't just think about your goal, feel it. Let excitement or desire give it energy. Mastermind effect. When multiple brains focus on a common goal, the combined energy creates stronger signals of success. Listen to intuition. Pay attention to flashes of inspiration. They may be your brain picking up valuable signals. Quick example. Think about motivational speakers. They don't just give information, they transmit energy. Their brain is broadcasting passion, and the audience tunes into it. That's why you leave inspired. It's not just words, it's vibration. Final word. Your brain is more than a thinking machine. It's a powerful transmitter and receiver of ideas, emotions, and inspiration. If you want success, you must tune it to the right frequency, surrounding yourself with positive signals and broadcasting your own with passion. So ask yourself, what signal is my brain sending out today? Napoleon Hill calls the sixth sense the receiver that connects you to infinite intelligence. It's not something you can touch or see. It's more like intuition, that inner voice or gut feeling that guides you when logic alone isn't enough. What is the sixth sense? You already know about the five senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. The sixth sense is different. It's the ability to pick up insights, hunches, or flashes of inspiration without a clear, logical explanation. Some call it instinct, others call it a higher power speaking. Hill says the sixth sense is the final step in mastering the principles of success. Once your subconscious mind, imagination, and faith are trained, the sixth sense starts to work naturally. Why it matters. Many successful people make big decisions based on gut feelings. Think of entrepreneurs who take risks, artists who create something new, or leaders who sense the right move before others see it. They trust their sixth sense, and it often proves right. It's not magic, it's the result of a trained mind working with intuition. How to develop it? You can't force the sixth sense. It develops over time as you master the other principles: desire, faith, persistence, subconscious programming. But you can encourage it by quieting your mind. Spend time in reflection, prayer, or meditation. Listening to hunches, pay attention to those inner nudges instead of brushing them off. Acting on insight, test small intuitive ideas to build confidence in them. Feeding your mind. Fill your brain with knowledge and goals so your subconscious has material to work with. Hill's invisible counselors. Hill even described a mental exercise he used. He imagined a council of great people like Lincoln, Edison, and Napoleon advising him in his mind. Whether you see that as imagination or true spiritual guidance, it gave him powerful insights. You can try the same. Picture mentors or role models in your mind and ask them for advice. Often your subconscious will generate answers you wouldn't think of otherwise. Quick example. Think of the last time you suddenly thought of calling someone, and when you did, they really needed to hear from you. Or when you had a gut feeling to avoid something, and it turned out to be the right choice. That's the sixth sense in action. Final word. The sixth sense is the bridge between your human mind and something greater. It gives guidance when logic runs out. Hill says it's like opening a direct line to infinite intelligence. So ask yourself, am I listening to my intuition or ignoring the voice that could guide me to success?
Napoleon Hill ends the book with a warning. Fear is the biggest enemy of success. You can have desire, plans, persistence, and even a mastermind group. But if fear controls you, you'll never act on your dreams. The 6 basic fears. Hill lists 6 fears that keep people stuck. Fear of poverty, worrying about money so much that you never take risks to earn more. Fear of criticism, letting what will people think stop you from trying. Fear of ill health, focusing so much on sickness that it drains your energy. Fear of loss of love, jealousy, insecurity, or clinging that weakens confidence. Fear of old age, believing life slows down instead of growing wiser. Fear of death, wasting life by worrying about its end. Most people carry a mix of these fears, often without realizing it. How fear shows up. Fear snakes into your life as doubt, hesitation, procrastination, and excuses. You tell yourself, I'll wait until I'm ready, or what if I fail? But deep down, it's fear keeping you safe and stuck. Beating fear. Hill's advice is simple. Fear loses power when you face it. Awareness. Identify which of the 6 fears is holding you back. Faith over fear. Replace fearful thoughts with confident, faith-filled ones. Action. Move forward despite fear. Action weakens fear, while waiting makes it stronger. Environment. Stay around people who encourage you, not those who feed your doubts. Quick example. Think about public speaking. Many fear criticism or embarrassment, but once you step up, speak, and survive, the fear shrinks. Each repetition makes it weaker until it no longer controls you. The same applies to business risks, relationships, or any big life decision. Final word. Fear is natural, but it's also a liar. It exaggerates risks and hides opportunities. Hill says the key to success is replacing fear with faith, doubt with belief, and hesitation with action. So the ultimate question is,
Am I letting fear run my life, or am I using courage to chase my dreams?
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich isn't just a book about making money. It's a blueprint for creating success in any area of life. The core message? What you think about and act on shapes your reality. The big lessons in a nutshell? Desire. Everything starts with a burning want. Weak wishes lead to weak results. Strong, definite desire fuels action. Faith. Believe in yourself and your vision, even when others doubt you. Faith gives your mind the confidence to push through. Auto-suggestion. Keep repeating your goals to yourself until your subconscious believes them. Thoughts repeated with emotion become reality. Specialized knowledge. General knowledge won't cut it. Focus on learning skills that directly help your goal. Imagination. Use creativity to turn ideas into plans and plans into results. Organized planning. A dream without a plan stays a dream. Success requires a roadmap and consistent action. Decision. Successful people decide quickly and stick with it. Indecision breeds failure. Persistence. Most people quit too soon. Winners keep going until they break through. Mastermind. Surround yourself with like-minded, ambitious people. Success is easier with a supportive team. Sex transmutation. Channel powerful energy into creativity, drive, and leadership. Subconscious mind. Guard what you feed your mind. It accepts whatever you repeat, positive or negative. The brain. Your brain broadcasts and receives thoughts. Tune it to success by focusing on uplifting input. The sixth sense. Learn to trust intuition and gut feelings as higher guidance. Overcoming fear. The 6 basic fears, poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death, hold people back. Face them and replace them with faith. The formula for success. If you boil it all down, Hill's formula is: know exactly what you want, believe it's possible, create a plan, act on it with persistence, surround yourself with the right people, guard your thoughts and emotions, trust your intuition. Follow this path and wealth, whether financial, personal, or spiritual, becomes almost inevitable. Final word. Hill interviewed hundreds of the world's most successful people, and they all proved one thing: success begins in the mind. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they never develop desire, faith, and persistence strong enough to overcome fear. So here's the challenge. Don't just read these ideas, live them. Start with one clear goal, write it down, repeat it daily, and take action no matter what. Over time, your thoughts will shape your habits will shape your destiny, and your destiny will reflect the success you imagined. The choice is yours. Think rich and grow rich.